Running back nation, what is good? Yeah, we are back for another one. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. I'm just happy there's actual things for me to talk about. This time of year makes my job very easy because I wake up in the morning and there's plenty of different directions I could go and things I can give my opinion on, and people are very interested to give their opinion also, so it all works. So this is a great time. The draft ended last night. The 76ers did some things in the second round. I had an interesting reaction to their second round pick. VJ Edgecomb is already in the lab wearing a 76ers t-shirt, getting some buckets. There is some more Ace Bailey drama that I just think is incredibly entertaining. What else are we going to talk about, man? Yeah. And we have some breaking news that we're going to talk about first. A 76ers player picked up his player option, which we all knew was going to happen because that player option is worth more money than any team was going to give him. Shout out to the members in the chat. RJ, what up? RJ7 Deuce. We got double RJs in the chat, both members of the channel. Shout out to the members of the channel. My man Zaz in the building. Shout out to the Sicko Nation members. Thank you guys for the continued support. Hit the like button one time for me. 158 people in here. Give me 158 likes. Shout out Brian Pumper, recent super chat. Super of the month, Paul Michio. Thank you for the support. He was dropping all those super chats because he made me agree, or he made me bet that if the 76ers did not draft Ace Bailey, I would do a cold plunge on stream. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do that and how I'm going to survive. And shout out to the latest member of the channel, Aunt C. Let's get down to business. The first order of business is Andre Drummond has picked up his player option, which, yeah, we all thought that was going to happen because his player option was $5 million. I think with how washed Andre Drummond looked last season, no team was going to offer him $5 million. And I would assume that the 76ers are going to trade Andre Drummond after he picked up that $5 million player option. There's a couple other players that have player options that I think the 76ers would also be interested in trading after they pick up that player option. Eric Gordon is one of them, and I believe Kelly Oubre is another one. I don't know if the 76ers are interested in trading Kelly Oubre. But, you know, with the emergence of Justin Edwards, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I'm not sure. I would love for them to at least trade Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon. I think both of those guys are 1 foot in the retirement center, and paying each of them $5 million this upcoming season just doesn't really make any sense. So I would expect the Sixers to try their best to trade Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon. I think if Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon return to the 76ers on $5 million player options, that is a fail, I think. So, you know, we'll see if they pull it off. Somebody told me that they cannot trade Andre Drummond because it would hard cap them. I'm not even really sure how that works. You know, I've gone through the salary cap stuff a million times trying to understand the very fine details, the ins and the outs, especially the new CBA with the first apron, the second apron. I don't really know what that means. Can you explain it to me in the chat? Anybody that knows what that means? If the 76ers trade Andre Drummond after he picked up his player option, that would hard cap the fuck out of them. That's what somebody told me. And then I used Google AI and I said, can the 76ers trade Andre Drummond? And Google AI told me, yes, the 76ers can trade Andre Drummond after he picked up his $5 million player option. So I don't really know what that means. If you trade a guy that picked up a player option, it would hard cap you. Does anybody have the answer to that? No point in keeping washed guys. Rather see them give young guys with potential a chance. I agree, and I don't think Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon help you win anyway. I think Daryl Morey knows that. You know, we know Nick Nurse loves veterans. We know Daryl Morey is interested in building for the future, but win now at the same token. But I don't even think Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse would be interested in giving Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon playing time this upcoming season. If I see what I saw last year, I'm just going to be out, bro. I'm just going to be out. I believe you can trade Drummond and there wouldn't be an issue. Drummond is technically on an expiring contract. You can trade him. You just have to match salaries with other contracts. All right, so point proven. People on Twitter have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, and they just type words because they like to argue with every single thing that you put on that app. So yeah, there's the Andre Drummond stuff. Free agency starts. The legal tampering period starts June 30th, and then players can sign starting on July 6th. But I've already heard, I already heard a rumor today, actually a Shams report, that the Houston Rockets are offering some of their free agents contract extensions. So I guess legal tampering has already started. I don't know, but we're going to start to hear stuff pretty much every day about some of these free agents and what the Sixers plan to do. So it's going to be a fun time up until the Summer League starts. I'm excited to watch VJ Edgecomb play in the Summer League. Yeah, Andre Drummond has a snow bunny clause in his contract. Maybe he does, man. It's only tampering when the Sixers do it. NZ, what's up, man? Exactly. It's only tampering when the Sixers do it. We lose second-round draft picks because we get in trouble for tampering. So there's the Andre Drummond stuff. Let's get into this VJ Edgecomb stuff, man. We just drafted the dude, okay? And, you know, the 76ers loved his interviews. They loved his personality. They loved his, you know, what we can presume is going to be an undeniable work ethic. Would you love for him to be 6'7", 220? Yes, of course you would. He's 6'5", 185. But he's 19 years old. And I just think, man, with his personality, the way he looks like or sounds like he approaches the game, he's the type of player that's going to develop. You know what I mean? He has that Jalen Hurts, Tyrese Maxey mindset where, like, if I put the work in, I'm going to improve leaps and bounds beyond what everybody thinks I'm capable of. I think he has that mindset. This dude is going to be, you know, it shot 35% from three in college. If you want that to be 40+% in the NBA, the only way to do that is to get in the gym and to get the shots up. Tyrese Maxey was a 29% three-point shooter at Kentucky. 2 years later, he shot 42% in the NBA over an entire season and was like fifth best three-point percentage in the entire league. And that's just reps. And I think VJ Edgecomb has that. And, you know, we just drafted him like yesterday. And he's in the gym in a 76ers t-shirt. I just love it, man. Hey, let's watch this video.
I like it. 3, 2.
Buckets. That's a deep one, man. Hold up. Let's look at this three-point line here, man. Is this... If this is a high school line, the black one, and the red one is a pro line. Look how far... Bro! My man said, day one, I'm letting it splash from the logo. And Greeny Green is in the chat saying Zaire Smith and Jaden Springer, as I'm literally playing a video showing him doing things that Zaire Smith and Jaden Springer cannot do. Splash. And see, the confidence and the trash talk is what I really like about VJ Edgecomb. You're gonna have to do something. Watch this.
What you talking about?
Fuck is you talking about? Bro, are you serious? Let's go, man. Philly is going to love this kid, bro. He said, I'm gonna shoot on you two. You're gonna have to do something about it. And then he turned around to somebody else and said, fuck is you talking about? Bro, this Philly's gonna love this dude, man.
What you talking about?
Philly's gonna love this dude, man.
6, 5, 4,
Bucket, cross. The hezzy right, left cross. Give him another one. Splash. And one, ref. Bucket. Strong. Strong with the shoulder. A little push off, but a little sneaky push off on the hip. Oh, look at the in and out. Look at the hezzy in and out, man. Woo. And one, ref.
6, 5, 4,
Oh yeah, bucket. I'm telling you, man. You wouldn't believe how many people told me VJ Edgecomb can't shoot, and I'm like, what? Like I've seen so many Baylor highlights. I don't understand where this take is even coming from. And then you look at the percentage, and he shot 36% from three. That's not a terrible percentage, and it went up to 41% in the NCAA tournament. But people will straight up tell me right to my face, he can't shoot. I don't understand it, but that's the internet today. That's where we are. Hey, man, Kevin, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Let's go, Sixers. Thank you for the support, man. Let's go, Sixers. Yeah, I think Philly's going to absolutely love VJ Edgecomb, man. I think his attitude, the way he approaches the game, his work ethic, they're going to love him, man. He's going to be out there. And, you know, coming from where he came from, having a chip on his shoulder, being the underdog, you know, not just on the basketball court, but an underdog in his early life. You're going to see this dude giving 100% every single second he's on the floor, diving for loose balls, sprinting up and down the floor. Philly's going to absolutely love this guy. Sign and trade Grimes to Portland for Deni Avdija. Well, listen, I am a Deni Avdija fan. And we're going to find out what they do with Quentin Grimes pretty soon, man. We're going to find out pretty soon. I assumed that they were going to sign and trade Quentin Grimes because that was before they drafted, you know, VJ Edgecomb. But I thought that Quentin Grimes is probably going to get offered money that the 76ers could match. But will they want to match it after they drafted VJ Edgecomb? You know what I mean? And again, you would love for VJ Edgecomb to have the potential to do what Quentin Grimes can do. But I think when you look at Quentin Grimes and, you know, when he's out there dropping 40-plus points on NBA teams on high efficiency, that's going to get him paid. You know, these NBA teams are not sitting around in the dark. They're paying attention to everything. They're scanning the advanced numbers. The numbers, Quentin Grimes' advanced numbers are going to get him a payday. I'm thinking of, you know, $20 million a year. I know some people think that sounds crazy, but Quentin Grimes being only 24 years old, I think that's going to get him. I think that's going to get him like a 4-year $100 million, man. And you know, I don't know if that's crazy to think. That might be crazy to think, but every time a free agent signs a contract, it feels like a lot of money. And what do you guys think? 4 years, $100 million? That sounds crazy. Cam Whitmore for Grimes. I don't know. I think Grimes is going to get offered a contract that the 76ers don't match, man. That's what I think. Here is VJ Edgecomb and his entire family wearing 76ers gear. Now, a topic that has been a topic of discussion on the internet today is VJ Edgecomb's number. 77. That is a disgusting basketball number. And I know Luka Doncic's number 77. But I hate that number, bro. And he wore number 7 at Baylor. And so basically, if Kyle Lowry, if the reason VJ Edgecombe is wearing 77 is because Kyle Lowry won't give up his number 7, I hate that. And I know it's the whole, you're a rookie, you got to earn it. You got to, and Kyle Lowry, I'm a veteran and I'm a this, I'm a that. And he's Nick Nurse's stepson and all that type of stuff. But knock it off. Knock it off, Kyle Lowry. You're going to take number 7 to sit your ass on the end of the bench and make this kid wear 77? And I do still have, speaking of Kyle Lowry, I do still have a very subconscious fear that we're still going to see a lot of Kyle Lowry minutes this upcoming season. And I personally am not interested in seeing that whatsoever. Why won't you just retire, man? Why won't you just retire, bro? Nick Nurse right now is playing Do You Believe in Magic? You know what's crazy? I haven't had a camera freeze since I started using this camera again. And I just said to myself before I went live that I haven't had a camera freeze since I started using this camera again. And then I said to myself, you probably just jinxed it, dumbass. And boom. Camera freeze. Anyway, Nick Nurse is now playing Do You Believe in Magic on his piano, thinking about how he will barely play anyone under the age of 25. Not named Maxey and McCain. Nah, Edgecombe is getting minutes, bro. Edgecombe is getting minutes. I believe that Edgecombe is getting minutes. Now, we're going to talk about this Johnny Broome stuff because I have a hard time believing that Nick Nurse is going to play Johnny Broome for a second this upcoming season. What else? Oh yeah, so I was watching. I should have live streamed the second round last night because I think my reaction was probably pretty entertaining. But I was out with my girl. We were sitting at a bar, a little patio bar down here in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. The Wharf. Shout out to the Wharf. And we were sitting out there, and I was watching the draft, and I was amped up. And I was like, damn, I should have live streamed this, dude. Because why am I so amped? For the second round of an NBA draft, everybody in this building, nobody's paying attention to the TV besides me. And I had on my board, I had Rasheer Fleming. All right, I think Rasheer Fleming is just a perfect 3-and-D power forward. And I thought the 76ers should have done everything that in their power to go up and get Rasheer Fleming. Then I had Kalkbrenner. Then I had Maxime Reynaud. And then I had maybe Adu, I forget his last name. I forget his last name. I had another guy ahead of Johnny Broome, and I was saying if all those guys are off the board and Johnny Broome's the last big man at the top of the second round, then we got to take him. So first of all, the Brooklyn Nets trade number 36 to the Suns. Now I quoted this, and I said, the Suns are taking our guy, Daryl Morey, do something. And people replied to me and said, what are you talking about? We have 35. They traded for 36. And I said, use your brain, people. They traded for 36 to package it with another trade to move up. And guess what? On the money, the Phoenix Suns acquired the number 31 pick from the Timberwolves for the number 36 selection and 2 second-round picks. The Suns move up to 31, and Shams reported they have their eye on Rasheer Fleming. And so the Suns trade up and take Rasheer Fleming out from under our nose, okay? And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, Rasheer Fleming's off the board. I thought he was going to go number 31 anyway. The Sixers would have had to trade up to get him. I don't know why they didn't try to trade up to get him. I think Rasheer Fleming is going to be like a Dorian Finney-Smith level of 3-and-D power forward in the NBA, and I thought he would have been perfect not only next to Joel Embiid, but for the future. Sixers didn't make the move. But then you still had Kalkbrenner. Who's the other guy I'm thinking of, bro? Adu, Adu, let me know in the chat. Give me his last name in the chat, man. See, starts with an S. I guess I could look it up pretty easily, but Thiero, there he is. Shrey, thank you for that. Adu Thiero. I had, you know, so I had Kalkbrenner, Reynaud, who are 2 stretch 5s, who, you know, Daryl Morey's drafting for the now and the future. So I guess he wasn't going to draft a stretch 5, even though I think those guys have like Brook Lopez ability. And even if you think about the future, if Adembona is the center for the future, could you really play a stretch 5 next to Adembona? Could you really move Adembona to the 4? So I get it, okay? I understand why he didn't go after Kalkbrenner or Reynaud. All right, but then with Thiero still there, that's where I really don't understand this draft pick, or didn't understand it initially. Because if you were going to take 6'9", 6'10", power forward who can't shoot, at least Adu Thiero's athleticism is off the charts. At least Adu Thiero is a big, strong, physical guy who can play above the rim. And so I thought Thiero was definitely at least the pick there if it wasn't Kalkbrenner or Reynaud. I did not see them selecting Johnny Broome ahead of those 3 players. That's why my reaction to this was what it was. And if I would have been live streaming, it would have been the same type of reaction that I had to the 76ers not playing Ace Bailey hardball and taking VJ Edgecomb. I wasn't talking negatively about the player they selected. I just didn't expect it given the situation and the other players that were on the board. I think Johnny Broome, and look, he's an undersized center. He's 6'9". He lacks athleticism. His vertical at the combine was 23 inches, which is just insane. I think dude, I think George Niang might have a higher vertical than Johnny Broome. And so I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it because I watched Nick Nurse play Yabusele at center last year, who is 6'8" and can't jump. Okay? And I watched a layup line every day. Every game he started Yabusele at center, it was a layup line. The NBA is a different game. You can watch a guy like Johnny Broome in college and watch, you know, how hard of a worker he is and how good he is at positioning his body under the rim to get rebounds. And he was a major reason that Auburn went as far as they went. And some of those matchups, especially one against, I believe Texas Tech, it was like a knockdown, drag-out fight under the rim. Maybe it was Oklahoma. I don't remember exactly. But either way, there were some big bodies under the rim banging for position, and it was a lot of fun to watch. But college basketball and the NBA are 2 totally different things. And you can't play center at 6'9" in the NBA if you don't have elite athleticism. I can't see Johnny Broome playing center in the NBA being only 6'9" and having the opposite of elite athleticism. Now, I want to say this. Maybe, and I would love to be wrong. I would always love to be wrong anytime I talk negatively about a draft pick. I would love more than anything to be wrong. I think Philly's going to like Johnny Broome a lot if Nick Nurse gives him any minutes whatsoever. He might be in the G League for 2 years. I don't know. I think Philly's going to like him if Nick Nurse does put him on the floor because I think he has the potential to be one of those guys that the stats don't tell the whole story. He shot 27% from 3 in college, by the way, too. But, you know, there's a little bit of like Zach Randolph comparison, and I like that comparison. A guy that, you know, lacks athleticism, was an undersized center, but just found ways to be super effective. You know, I think Zach Randolph is a great comparison for Johnny Broome, a dude that you would look at his stat sheet and his percentages and be like, this guy can't play center in the NBA. And then you watch him play and you're like, he just figures out a way to get it done, you know? So I like that comparison. I think Johnny Broome can be a guy that if he does get on the floor under Nick Nurse, will be a high energy glue guy. His work ethic, the way that he plays the game, the way that how hard he plays the game, I think it will be infectious to the players on the floor with him. You know what I mean? We've seen so many players over the years in 76ers uniforms just play like frauds and straight up not chase down loose balls and get beat on the rebounds and just total lack of effort. I think Johnny Broome's a guy that's the opposite of that. He's not going to lack effort. And the way that he approaches the game, I think, is going to be good for the players around him. Not just on the floor, but in the locker room and in practice. You know, even having a guy like Johnny Broome practice against, we'll say, a healthy Joel Embiid. He's going to be a great guy to even have in a practice facility because he's going to go hard 24/7. And he is undersized. He does lack athleticism, but he's very smart. And his rebound positioning is elite. And I talk so much all the time about how 76ers players can't rebound because they straight up lack the fundamentals. I haven't seen a 76ers player box out in 10 years. Johnny Broome has that 55-year-old guy at the park box out game. You know, that straight fundamentals. He's going to get his hip under you and he's going to move you off the block with his positioning. And I think that's great for the 76ers also, too. So even if I had players ahead of him and even if there's things that I don't really like about him as a center in the NBA, I just feel like it's going to be, if they put him at center, it's going to be a Gershon Yabusele layup line. But at least he plays hard, and Yabusele plays hard too, but Yabusele somehow is a terrible rebounder. Johnny Broome's fundamental rebounding, I think, is something that is great to bring to the 76ers, and I think Philly's going to like him a lot. And I think he can be that guy that's, the stats don't tell the whole story, and every time he gets on the floor, he just finds a way to get shit done. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. There's things to like about it. I just thought there was guys there that had better size and athleticism that would have made more sense at that pick, but the Sixers liked him. Daryl Morey liked him a lot. You can't just go by blocks per game at the college level when you're swatting layups from accounting students, you know, most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really take college stats. We got to think about, will things transfer to the NBA? And NBA guards are just elite compared to the whole of college guards. You know what I mean? Look at, like, the college season last year, right? Tyrese Proctor was one of the best guards in college basketball, and he went in the second round of the NBA. NBA guards are elite. You can average 2.5 blocks per game against college teams and get to the NBA and not be able to stop a single guard that gets in the paint because the speed and everything is that much better. But that, you know, I'm not trying to be negative. I think I'm just being realistic. But I think Philly's going to like him. And, you know, there's things to like. It just took me by surprise. But clearly the Sixers liked him. There was a story that he worked out for the Sixers 2 years ago before the draft, but then elected to go back to college and has maintained a relationship with the 76ers front office. And then, you know, 2 years later, the 76ers select him. So there's a relationship thing there too. But I don't hate it. And it's a second round. If it's a miss, it's a miss. If it's a hit, it's a hit. We'll see. You know what I mean? But, you know, there it is. Broome reminds me of Hartenstein. Yeah, maybe. I think Hartenstein, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Embiid back. What does that mean? Shout out to everybody in here, man. Where are the members at? Scott Lawrence, what's going on, man? Shout out to Scott Lawrence, member in the chat. What else I want to talk about? Oh, let's get the Ace Bailey thing. Oh yeah, here was my reaction on Instagram after the Johnny Broome pick. I I took my tweet and I posted it on a screenshot over on Instagram. And I am getting absolutely destroyed in the comments of this post, but it has like 30,000 views, so I gotta let it go. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just take the heat for the clout. So there was my reaction, but I'm not deleting it. I don't care. Reynaud is soft. Yeah, a lot of teams passed on Reynaud, man. I thought he was gonna go high in the second round. I think he went like 41. You know what I mean? So there's that. Listen, this Ace Bailey stuff is getting crazy. And every day we are more and more grateful that the 76ers passed on this disaster of a situation. Ace Bailey did not fly with fellow first-round pick Walter Clayton Jr. to Utah after being drafted. Brian Windhorst reports. Ace Bailey is expected to show up in Salt Lake City by Monday. If he doesn't show, Bailey could be holding out from the team. Don't forget, his agent, Omar Cooper, specifically told a team in the top 5 that if they draft him, they will not show up. This is crazy. I've never seen an NBA draft prospect act like this. And here's more from NBA Central. The Jazz were very excited to welcome him to Utah over the weekend. That hasn't happened yet, so he did not go there. Their other first-round pick, Walter Clayton Jr., flew to Utah on Thursday and is getting ready to go. Ace Bailey did not, and there's been minimal contact with him and the team. This is not a crisis yet. What the Jazz are saying is he's not expected in Utah until the weekend, and really what he needs to do is be there by Monday when their training camp starts for Summer League. And if he's there, no problem. Hope his Jazz career gets off to a good start. If not, let's see what actions go from there. Could we see the first NBA rookie holdout? Like, when is the last time this happened? The last time this happened where... I mean, it really hasn't happened. I don't think there's been a player that has been drafted by a team and has refused to show up. There's been players that told teams, we don't want you to draft us, and they were drafted and traded on draft night, Kobe Bryant and some others. But Danny Ainge is a psycho, bro. And I still don't know how Cooper Flagg's representation didn't know that. We want to go number 6 to the Washington Wizards. How are you going to get past Danny Ainge? If there's one guy that is willing to step into the ring and play hardball, it is Danny Ainge, man. And he just straight up drafted him, and now it's on Ace Bailey's camp to show up. There's a video that's going viral right now of Omar Cooper, who is Ace Bailey's agent. It's going a little bit viral on Twitter lately. Here is Omar Cooper's a video that he posted on Instagram. Okay, and now look, I'm not judging whatsoever, but looking at all of the stuff that's happened, okay, with the whole like requesting money to do interviews and telling certain teams, don't draft us, we're not going to show up. And then I got to turn the volume off because he's playing a Jay-Z song in the background. I've been calling Omar Cooper a scammer. All right. And he's on the video flexing a watch and I don't know, acting like Dame Dash in a Jay-Z music video. It's giving me Don King, Mike Tyson vibes, man. And Ace Bailey needs to get out of this situation, because this is absolutely blowing my mind. It's absolutely blowing my mind. Ace Bailey needs to get out of this situation. And I've had people, you know, react to me and you know, oh, you're just talking about. Listen, man. Ace Bailey needs to call up Rich Paul. All right. Ace Bailey needs to call up Rich Paul, because this is a ridiculous situation. We got another super chat in here. Terry the Terrible. What's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. It's also only tanking when the Sixers do it. That is true. now we have this from NBA Central. Ace Bailey's next team. Los Angeles Lakers are a plus 235. So Vegas is already assuming that the Utah Jazz are going to trade Ace Bailey. Or Vegas is assuming that the Utah Jazz or that Ace Bailey is going to hold out. And if you hold out, you have to re-enter the draft the next year. If he holds out, the Utah Jazz have his rights for an entire season. He can't go anywhere. He can't play overseas. He can't play basketball anywhere. It's in the contract. If he holds out, he has to sit for a year and then re-enter the NBA draft. But the Lakers being the top choice gives me a weird feeling, you know? Because, and I'm going to go conspiracy theory here, okay? But the Dallas Mavericks make the weirdest trade in history, trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers, and they somehow end up with the number 1 pick in the draft with a 1.5% chance of that happening. Feels like the NBA said, we need a young superstar in LA. We will promise you the number 1 pick in the draft if you make this trade. And now, could this be an even crazier plot by the NBA to get another future star to the Los Angeles Lakers? I think ultimately if Ace Bailey does refuse to go to Utah, they're going to trade him because, you know, it works against the team too. Yeah, he would have to sit for a year, but then you lost the whole, you know, you tanked the whole season, got all the way to number 5 in the draft, and you're just completely out a player. You know, so the Jazz wouldn't let him sit for a whole year and just lose out on having a player. I think probably the Utah Jazz, if he doesn't show up on Monday, the Utah Jazz are going to trade him. That's what I think. And here's a video of his representative, which I don't really know what that means because Omar Cooper is his agent, but another guy in his camp claiming that he is thrilled to be in Utah. And watch this guy. Watch him keep looking up over the camera, bro. I feel like Omar Cooper is behind the camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look.
Andrew Whitley, the president of GSC Worldwide, the talent reps of Ace Bailey. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations, by the way, on having your client join the NBA. Yes. But I just want to get your initial thoughts on Ace being selected number 5 by Utah. Is this a team that he's excited to play for?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me. And yeah, no,
I can't get past this guy looking around, bro. Seriously, pay attention.
Me. And yeah, no, he's thrilled to be going to Utah. Obviously, it's an honor to be selected in the top 5 of the NBA draft. And, you know, we think he can do a lot of great things out there. He certainly should get a ton of playing time, and he'll have a lot of chances to show what he can do.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. He's going to be a 30-30 for episode. He's going to be on a 30 for 30 episode, man. It is a very odd situation, the Ace Bailey stuff. But I am glad the 76ers avoided it. Just what are the odds that it's just so 76ers that we got to number 3. The best prospect was straight, you know, size potential, star potential was Ace Bailey, and he ends up being a massive head case. Like this, dude, the Sixers just have the craziest luck in the history of sports. But maybe VJ Edgecomb is a, you know, blessing in disguise. One of the Cavs players has him as an agent, then cut him after a year. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, we definitely dodged a bullet, man, because it would have just been a headache. Now the Jazz are going through, but the Jazz have time. The Jazz have time to deal with this stuff. The 76ers don't have time. We needed a player that was going to come in and contribute right away, and that's why they went with VJ. I know you were laughing, but this doesn't sound crazy to me. We forget the NBA is a business, and business is always trying to find ways to get more money. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's not that common, Jabbar. I've never seen an NBA prospect try to pull this off. And this isn't about trying to get more money. I mean, in the long run, yeah, they're trying to get Ace Bailey to a team that can give him a pathway to becoming a star, which would equal more money, I guess. But if you're good enough, you just become a star no matter what, right? Like, people thought, oh, you know, how's Jared McCain going to play when we have Tyrese Maxey? And Jared McCain became a star. Year one, dude, he would have won Rookie of the Year, you know? It's like, if you're good enough, you become a star. This is odd to me. That's what it is. And, you know, there's like a $20 million difference, by the way, going number 3 in the draft versus number 5. It was like $14 million difference in the rookie contract. So they already lost $14 million. So I don't know. And it does matter how you do it, because you are staining your name, dude, around the NBA. This dude is already hated by 76ers fans. He's now about to be hated by Utah Jazz fans. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I've never seen anything like it. But, you know, it keeps giving me content, because it's just a crazy story that keeps developing. Listen, man, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button for me one time. 633 people in here. Thank you for coming through. If you want my opinion on the VJ Edgecomb workout video, the Andre Drummond signing, the Johnny Broome draft pick, if you just came in and you didn't hear that, go back to the first couple of minutes of this stream in a couple of minutes when it's up on YouTube, and you can rewatch that. All right? Thank you for hanging out.